Do you have a request?
Yes.
We have one of those meditations, those body meditations that you do sometimes, if it feels right to you.
Notice the stillness. The peace. The tranquility. the silence. Everything that arises, the sound, the breath, whatever thought may be arising, arises in this stillness, out of this stillness. And is imbued with the silence, with the stillness. The peace of being. That is undisturbed by whatever arises, appears, remains untouched. Everything appears within that space. Is made out of it. Is intimate with it. Like the mist that arises on the surface of the lake. Is made out of the same substance as the lake itself. Everything that appears to you arises out of you, as you. effortlessly. And is not separate. So you can turn your attention to your body, whatever sensations may be arising, your face, the socket of your eyes. Your forehead, the cavity of your skull, the space that permeates all these sensations. The sensation of your neck, your shoulders, that has no name, no shape, the gentle breath, within and beyond the chest, filling the entire space, undefined, nameless presence. The space behind your back, the space that appears in front of your chest. Edgeless, borderless, the core of your belly, relaxed and open. Embracing everything effortlessly. No effort. Releasing every sensation into the space that permeates it and out of which it is made and in which it appears. The sensation of your bottom against the chair, against the seat, against the couch. Borderless. Notice that every appearance is appearing in the space of awareness. Every sensation, none of which defines the space of awareness. Sensation of your legs, your thighs, knees. Appearing in the open space, the space of awareness, permeated by that. Out of which it appears. The sensation of your feet on the ground. Allowing everything to be as it is. Effortlessly. You are this vastness, formless awareness, presence, beingness. So if there are any questions, whether online or here.
What you did just now, what we did now, is that what's being called yoga meditation or yoga? Is it body yoga type of thing? The reason why I asked it because I hear that online, and I do think that possible that helps with the idea of this form only body, shape. So that's why I'm asking, because that becomes so identifiable that it's become very solid. To see the shapelessness of sensation and thought, and to see that
Yes.
it can be collected, makes sense.
You know what makes an object is a subject, is a separate subject, and in relation to the separate subject, there is a separate object.
Yes.
And when you look closely at the subject, you find that it's formless awareness in a way. You could use that term subject in a relative way of speaking. You will find that there isn't an actual subject, like in a concrete manner. That it is awareness, a formless awareness, that is your experience. So it's sort of awareness recognizing itself as being this formless, undefined, like you define an object. And within that experience of consciousness sort of realizing itself in a way, as a way of speaking, the objects that we usually experience in some sort of concrete external reality also are revealed to be of that same substance, to be actually non-objects. And experiencing that rather than just understanding it, hearing about it or understanding it, yes, it makes sense. To experiencing that goes deeper in its in what it reveals than understanding and understanding that he isn't sort of lived. And so to revisit that, to revisit this non-experience, to revisit this, the I that is transparent, that is borderless, the reality that perceives right now. See, to recollect that, revisit that, contemplate that, in whichever way it appears to you. reaffirms and establishes that transparency and that peace, since there is nothing opposing anything else. There's nothing apart from anything else, which is in a way the love, the wholeness, the oneness, which is peace, love. And slowly it becomes your experience that in fact you are this transparency. You are this borderless presence, borderless awareness. Of course, the words are limited. It doesn't matter really how we speak of it. It's the experience that really matters, which is really not even an experience. It's a you could say it's an experience as being. It's a living. It's being lived in a way. And then in your life, which is this right now is your life. It's not really so. This, which is a transparency of being, also, whether you are whatever activity the body mind is engaged in, slowly, it doesn't matter that much. It doesn't matter that much if the body is being challenged by some activity or by some situation, or the body is not being challenged at certain times during the day. It does not matter. It doesn't apply the challenges of at the body-mind level do not apply to presence, to awareness, to the I that is this transparency of being.
So what I'm hearing is that, and it goes back to belief again, and of course done by the body, mind, experiencing. So is the belief that something is solid and something is not transparent, and so forth and so on. In a way, seems like what you're saying is also another progressive way in some sense, or some way of knowing that there's only one experience, and the rest is transparent. This is transparent, and I guess this is, I guess why do I have to? I'm not necessarily having to know this, but I guess what it appears like I'm hearing right now is that it's helpful for the person. It's helpful for somebody to know, which is only beingness knows, is to know its own transparency.
It is not the person that is knowing its transparency, because the person is an appearance.
Yes.
It appears as thoughts, sensations, perceptions. So what appears is not knowing. Right? So the knowingness doesn't belong to the person. It's always awareness, consciousness that knows.
Yeah.
So the object always refers to a subject.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to say that. It's
Yes.
just knowing, beingness, okay?
Yes.
What it's really is that now that becomes more, using duality for this, but more prevalent in a way, or becomes established.
Yes.
The reality,
Yes.
okay, rather than the person in the
Yes.
body mind. And that is
Yes.
all appearing, okay, in what is transparent, what is non-phenomenal.
Another way of saying it is that we already are this. The reality already is. It already is. The I already is this transparency.
Yeah.
And in our recollection of that, then we leave that less and less. We move away from that less and less.
Yes.
So the establishment, in a way, is sort of less and less the veils. You are less and less veiling yourself with the identity, with the object and the subject.
Yes.
Yes.
Seems like it's what may happen in a way is that it just no longer needs those veils.
The veils,
Where
in a way, like
it
we're
does.
talking about needing the veils, it's only the separate self that needs the
Yes.
veils. It's only Santa Claus that needs.
Yes.
It's all the children's, the list of the children with all their gifts. You see, it's all in Santa Claus's realm. But since there isn't, in fact, any Santa Claus, so those veils, ultimately, they are the play of Lila, the play of consciousness that's playing that. And the unhappiness that comes with being somebody in relationship to something else. This is always a pull and a push between a subject and an object. That unhappiness, that's unnecessary. That efforting is unnecessary. That's what is unnecessary. And the waking dream is consciousness's play. It's the illusion of consciousness that's playing this play. And your personal dream is just your inner images that are relating to a personal subject. You see, but in fact, it is all consciousness's dream.
Yeah. I understand. And that's, I think, probably what is happening for me. It's just seeing this because I've heard it from you and others, the idea of the body is what kind of sort of hangs on it, apparently or seemingly, is the most hanger-oner to a me, a person.
Yes.
And so ultimately it seems like now I can say, okay, I understand this, but that's on the object level. Say, okay, I see this, it's logical, this is that. And yet at the same time, these, say, exercises or whatever, bring out the reality without, maybe there's a person doing this and relaxing and trying to notice something like that. But eventually it's noticed, the truth is noticed, and it's not, one doesn't have to do it
Yes.
Because it's already there.
Yes. Yes. There is. There is the understanding of how things are. Understand that, for example, that I am not what is perceived, you see. It's helpful to understand that there isn't a subject that can perceive an object, because there are two.
Yeah.
In order for perception to occur, they have to meet, there has to be one. So that's an understanding. And of course, that only goes so deep.
Yeah.
And then the experience of wholeness, of oneness, which comes through meditation or comes also through insights that come to you, they complement each other. So we identify with the body much more than we identify with our car or with our shoes, right?
Most of the time.
Right. Now our body, if you look at your body, it's an appearance, yes? It appears to you, as sensations, as perceptions. So it appears to you. Your car also appears to you. When you're driving it or when you're thinking about it, what a beautiful car I have, and just put
But
it
we
in.
don't think we're our car. At
Yes,
least most of us don't.
right. We don't think we're our car.
think we're our body.
Yeah, but our car is an appearance that appears to us.
Yeah.
And our body, the body, is also an appearance that appears to us. Now, the frequency of the car appearing to you is much, much less than the frequency of the body appearing to you. Except if you are obsessive about your car, then you may be living in your car.
But when there's something wrong with the car, it's no big deal. There's something wrong with the car. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have that kind of pull that when you think there's something wrong with the body.
Well, but when there is something wrong,
identified.
when there is something wrong with the car, there is something wrong with something.
Yeah, but it's an object out there.
And when there is something wrong with the body, there is something wrong with something. It's also an object.
But the problem is, at least for me, when there's something wrong with the body, I start getting mentally involved.
Well, this is what
body.
this is what we are looking at. We're looking at that the body is an appearance that appears to you much more frequently than the car appears to you. That's yes. We say yes. And when there's something wrong with the car, we need to fix it. When there's something wrong with the body, we need to fix it. In a way, you could say that they're at the same level. It's possible to look at that they are actually at the same level. We are equally caretakers of our car, of our children, of our clothing, of our body. In a way, that's at the same level. Now, we are identified with our car, but we are more identified with our children and more identified with our body. And some people are more identified with their car than with their jewelry. Some are more identified with their jewelry than their car. Some are more identified with
Far more than their body.
etc.
Yes.
Could be. So it's identification with a form, you see. So it's a good thing to sort of look at. look at. I understand what you are saying, Trish, that you don't feel when there's something wrong with the car, that it's the same thing with something wrong with the body. But I'm inviting us to look at it from a broader perspective.
Well, that's, in a way, one could say it's through the eyes of consciousness. But it, and it's interesting that this, the concept or the image of somebody, with some people do love their cars, and they are really identifying
Yes.
with that.
Yes, I understand.
Because if something happens to the car or something goes wrong, it's almost an attack on them,
Yes.
on their personality, on who they are, or whatever. You touch that car, it's so in a way, it's the same as it's just then the subject object and the identification, which is with the body, is something's not right. Something
Yes.
is not right here.
Yes.
With
Yes.
the car or the body.
Yes. It's at the same level. There is something
Yes.
not right with the body. We try to fix it. There's something not right with the car. We try to fix it. And we know that sooner or later, the car goes to pot. Maybe we end up with another car, 2 or 3, who knows. The same thing with the body. The body can go to pot, and then that also can be discarded. So it's an invitation to look at that yes, body at some point or the other, maybe after 60, 70, 80, 100 years, who knows, and we say, okay, it's good enough. We discard the body. It's an object that we discard. What discards it? We discard it. We say, okay, it's good enough. We can let it go now. See, we can let it go. When we let go of our car, we don't let go of ourselves. We still are. The I is still I. Same thing when you let go of the body. You're letting go of the body. You're not letting go of I. You see, because it's an object. The I, what perceives the body right now is not the body. The body doesn't perceive. I perceive, right?
Yes.
I perceive. So the I that perceives is not the body. I drive. It's not the car that drives. I drive. It's true that you cannot drive without the car. I'm talking about driving. Similarly, you cannot perceive the color green without the ocular system.
Sure.
Right? So although you cannot drive the car you cannot go from here to downtown DC without your car, you are not the car. And similarly, although you cannot perceive the beautiful foliage of the spring without the body, you are not the body. So it's something to look at. It's a part of your contemplation to look at it. Okay, I do perceive world, body, mind via the body, mind, via the body, and via the body, mind. I do perceive the world. I do perceive thoughts, sensations, and so on via the body, mind. Yes. And I do drive many places with my car. Yes. It's to contemplate. Okay. No, there is no denying that. But I am not that.
Could I also say that I also drive my body in a sense?
You could say I drive my body. I mean, we don't speak that way, but yes, we could, in a new language or in a new other society, we could say, okay, I'm driving my body, to the kitchen,
Just don't say to other people.
In a way, there is a similarity in this way of looking. So we relax around our car, or we don't. We can get totally freaked out if the bird comes and dirties your car. You could get very freaked. You could build a hanger around your car. I could see somebody getting to be like that.
I have seen.
Yes. Or you could just live, you do your best. Okay, car gets dirty, you wash it, whatever. If possible. It may not be possible. Okay, then you're not washing it. Okay, so what? You see? to apply that to everything in your life, you see. Same thing with your work, with your family, with your partner, same thing. There are objects of relationship. You do your best with them, you see. But you don't identify, because then everything happened to the car. Anything happened to the car. My God, you're tossing and turning at night. Oh.
Think of your body as your car.
Yeah. Yes.
Because I don't have any identity with
Good.
my car.
Yeah, good. So that's a good one.
I do have identity with my body.
Yeah, well, here we are. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Attached to the car.
Here we go.
I'm not attached
Here we
to my
go.
car.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
That's one down.
Yes. Yes. See, because before any identification, we are the freedom of being, you see. We are not defined, we're not defined. Before the definition, we are undefined. Any definition, even a very intimate one, like the body, powerful one. Before that, you are before that. What you are before that, before this identification. You see, but we don't notice that I am before the identification. So immediately we go to the identification, but there is a space between the I that is undefined and unidentified and the identification. There is a space. And that's the space of awareness, you see. That's the space of awareness, which is infinite space, which is borderless space. I mean, speaking metaphorically, space and, awareness is that which is undefined, you see. And if you look for it or at it, you find it right away, because it is looking for itself. It is already itself, you see, right? When you say I awareness, immediately you find yourself. That's before the body, before I Trish, before I, the male, the female, the whatever gender, whatever. Before that, before I, the good, the bad, before the past and the future, before thought, you see.
So then it's not really, because I've had this question, it's not really, I guess the reason why I asked this is simply for some understanding, maybe, or who knows why I asked it, but it's really not experienced by the body.
The body is experienced.
Yes.
The body does not experience. I experience.
Yes, but sometimes when it gets said, that's what the body wants to do, is, okay, I can experience consciousness. I can. Okay, you see what I'm saying?
Yes, I see. But
consciousness experience, that's me, though. That's the body.
The body or me or whatever, the person, all of that is an object of perception.
Yes.
The body, you perceive the body as sensation, so the is experienced. What is experienced? Yes, does not experience. It is not experiencing. It's experienced.
Experiencing, use that.
Yeah, the experienced is not experiencing.
Yes. It already is. In other words, my. The experience, my experience with it's the I think, I don't know if you said it, something about, I think you said it one day, you're sitting in a chair, you don't have to think about it and know that it's sitting in a chair, it just is.
Yes.
And so sitting in a chair is sitting in a chair. And consciousness just is. So there really is no thinking about it. There is no real thinking of it. It exists without me thinking about it or even having to experience it.
Or so consciousness is before thought. And if you want to say, I am thinking about consciousness, then it's important to understand that the I that is thinking about consciousness is consciousness itself, is consciousness itself.
Yes.
There is no, Santa Claus cannot think about you.
Yeah.
Because there is no such thing as Santa Claus.
Right. Yeah.
Only you can think of Santa Claus thinking about you. You see, only you can think that Santa Claus is thinking about you.
Right.
So in fact, you are the only thinker. Even
Right.
even the Santa Claus that is thinking about you is your own thought.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay.
I like that, the eye awareness, because it stops the mind.
Eye awareness.
You know, when the mind starts babbling about something wrong with the body, blah, 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 blah. You know, that's a good way of stopping.
Well, you know, the body may be babbling about what's happening with the body. And so we feed the body, or we take the body to the doctor, or we take the body to rest, you know. We're the manager of the body. I, consciousness, is the manager of the body. You know, out of play.
But managing the body is different from being identified with
Absolutely.
it.
When you're managing the property, you are not its owner, you are just the manager.
And
As
you're
a
identified.
metaphor.
Your identity isn't I am the property.
Yes, your identity is not I am the property, right. This is why it's very difficult when you are in business and you're identified with your business, you suffer a lot, you know.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, because then you would put yourself in a whole different position.
Yes, so you do your business, but you are doing your business as consciousness, out of the freedom, out of a sense of play.
Yeah.
This is the play, this is Leela, so yeah, you do your business.
But what's happening now with the intensity of politics, you're getting, I am the politic. You know, I mean, people are becoming very identified with the political situation.
We don't care so much about people.
Me
That's-
too.
We're only looking at what is real, you see. In the dream, there are Americans, there are Russians, there are Japanese, there are Chinese, all that is in the dream. There are tall and short and fat and skinny and good and bad, all that is in the dream. But we're looking at what is real. You see, Santa Claus has a lot of deer. Some deer are 20-year-olds, some reindeer are 10-year-olds, some reindeer are babies. But we're not so much interested about the age and the health of Santa Claus's reindeer, right?
Not exactly.
Not exactly. We're not tossing and turning at night, wondering about how the new baby born reindeer is doing. That's
you off to a better decision.
right. That's the same thing with the people in politics, you know. It's the same illusion. It's the me illusion, me and you, me and him, the reality of a personal self. Yes?
I like that. For me, sticking the awareness after I stops the mind.
Okay.
You know, where otherwise it can start babbling
Yes.
without me realizing the next thing I know, you know, I'm off in some
Yes.
illusion,
Yes.
believing it.
Nobody's forcing us, you know. We must somehow enjoy doing it, otherwise we'd be masochists, right? Because nobody's forcing us. Ignorance is a choice.
And there seems to be patterns. And when you say choice, there seems to be patterns. Of the body, mind, seemingly of the body, mind, or display. that, like when they talk about if you have a spinning top, you know, you can stop it, but eventually it takes time for it to slow down and stop actually. And so,
So what we are doing, we are letting go of this, so satsang is the letting go of spinning the top.
stop the tension of spinning the
Yeah,
top.
right.
Okay, I'm tired of that.
Yes. Yes, so that's the
No more fun.
satsang is realizing that we are better off to stop spinning that top. Yes. I used to love playing with those things when I was a boy. I used to love them. Remember, they used to be like big like this and had different colors.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's right.
yes, yes. We're giving up our age here, you know. They don't make toys so much fun, like, you know.
No.
It used to be.
There's some people, some younger people don't even know about it.
They don't even know about it, right. Yeah, there are patterns, but you see, there is a trump card, and the trump card is the contemplation of awareness, the contemplation of truth, you see.
Yeah.
The contemplation of truth, then those patterns, you know, they cannot stand in the face of the contemplation. You see. They deflate. They deflate.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Yes.
what, yeah, exactly. And it's not done by me
Yeah.
figuring it out.
It's just the love of truth, the love of
Yeah.
inquiry, the interest, you know, in truth. Yes.
Yeah. It drops away on it. Because a lot of it seems to be, like they say about the idea of looking for outcomes and looking into the future, not living now, not having it unfold.
Yes.
And it's always a demand that it be somewhere else.
Mhm.
Or,
Yeah, it's important to realize that for consciousness, nothing is really unfolding.
Yeah.
Nothing is really unfolding.
Yeah.
Because there is nothing apart from the reality of consciousness.
Right.
So unfolding to whom?
Right.
It's like in your night dream. In night dream, it seems that a lot of things unfolding.
Yeah.
But all your night dreams that are unfolding to you, there's really nothing unfolding. Because there's only one reality, which is you, the dreamer. See?
Yeah.
So it's important to understand that.
Yeah.
It's not about nothing is unfolding. Yes, nothing is unfolding. Let's see if there are any questions online. Hello, out there? Just in case.
I think in my case, seeing what I think is unfolding, okay, on the body person level, has been helpful to see that I'm not the doer.
Yeah.
In that sense, okay, is to see it even visually, is that there's always a now, you know,
Yes.
and even though now it's
Yes,
now.
yes, right.
So in that case, I just think that in that sense, it seems to bring me closer to consciousness or know my own true
Yes,
identity,
yes,
true.
yes. There isn't any personal doer, because you could look at the weather, for example. The weather is, you could say, is being done. It's being done. Similarly, the internal, let's say it's the external weather. Similarly, the internal weather, thoughts, perceptions, sensations, they're also similarly being done. And the idea that there is a personal doer, that very idea itself is also a cosmic event.
Yes.
Yeah.
I say yes and understand, but it's
we look at that. You see, we're contemplating. So we look at the thoughts that arise, and so there is the impression that, okay, I am thinking these thoughts, right? But that very thought, I am thinking these thoughts, is also a thought that's appearing to you. You see, So you say, well, I am thinking the thought that I am thinking these thoughts. After a while, you realize that it's just that there isn't somebody behind the curtain. Yes. You pull the curtain, there is nobody behind the curtain, you see.
Yeah.
It's just some thought that that there is a person thinker, you see.
Yeah.
Right.
Chasing, dog chasing its
Right,
tail.
exactly. Like the dog chasing its tail or the snake. Yes. Yes. Hola, Emmanuel. So you write, Hola, May. I have to watch out with this May, Emmanuel. I know. I'm not sure I understand what it means, but I'm reading it, but I'm being watchful here. So you write, is it possible to realize truth by the understanding that I'm everything, not only consciousness as the perceiver, but also what is perceived as something intimate? I am the empty space, but also the table, the chairs that appear in the space. I'm the perceiver of all the bodies, but I'm also the bodies, everything as a whole, without any separation nor duality. Or is it needed to separate from form for a while and first realize that I am pure awareness, and then realize that I'm both awareness? Awareness, what appears in it. So you say, or is it needed to separate from form for a while and first realize that I'm pure awareness, and then realize that I'm both awareness and what appears in it? So, Emmanuel, the short answer to your question is yes. But I would like to say that they are not this first realizing that I am awareness, separating myself from form. I am not the form, I'm awareness. And then I am both awareness and the form. They're not, there isn't like a cement wall or a brick wall between them. Yeah. There is no wall between them. Yeah. So there is a diffusion. But yes, the contemplation in this sort of waking dream, first we are identified as I am this person, I am this body, and everything that is happening to me, and everything that is being done by me. This is how we start. There is an internal self and an external world. And then at some point we start to ask ourselves the question, am I this? Am I that? Am I what I perceive? Am I the form that I'm perceiving? And we realize that the form is appearing to us, and that the I is not a form, is not an object. That objects appear to us, and that I am consciousness. So you could say that yes, the first leg of the journey is the neti, I am not this, I am not that, and that I am the awareness. And also figuratively speaking, one could say that the second aspect of the contemplation is that the zero distance between what is perceived and the awareness that perceives. That there is no, although the form, I am not the form, I cannot deny perception, I cannot deny sensation, I cannot deny mentation. But although I cannot deny them, I realize that they are intimate with the awareness that perceives them. The object of perception and the subject of perception are one. So then you arrive to, yes, I am awareness, I am consciousness, I am not the form. But although I am not the form is not separate from myself. That in fact, I am all forms and all objects and all quotes unquote objects of perceptions, all forms. So in Buddhism, they say form is formless and formlessness is form. I'm not sure exactly the exact wording of that, but they do refer to that in one of their sutras. And many of the other teachings also speak about that all form refers to the formless self, and out of the formless self, all forms appear. But it's important to understand that there's only one reality, which is the reality of consciousness, which it never comes and goes. It's not like forms that appears and disappear. Like in your night dreams, you have infinite objects that appear in your night dreams. They vary in shape and size and in their nature, but you, the dreamer of these dreams, are always there, formless. You do not change, you do not take on any shape, you remain shapeless. But yes, in the samadhi, in the awakening, there is the nirvikalpa samadhi, which is the realization that I am consciousness, I am the self. And then there is the sahaja samadhi. The sahaja samadhi is that all is the self. I is everything and everyone. Only I exist. There is only consciousness, and all is consciousness. It is only the self, and all is the self. So I would not say that there is a need. I don't know. At least the way I read what you wrote, that the man is, but also everything, not only consciousness, but also disposition. Then I'm not sure I read it, but there is no need to really deny or leave the form or go in seclusion. Not sure if you implied that, but just to add that on. It depends, in some cases, people find themselves more capable of continuing their contemplation away by reducing worldly activities and by secluding themselves. That could happen. It's not a prerequisite, but it can be helpful for some folks, and it may be helpful for many people to, at some point in their life, to slow down a little bit, to reduce a little bit their activities, their worldly activities, and to devote a little bit more time to the contemplation. Maybe I'm going on a parallel away from your question, but and at some point they will find that wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you are never moved away from the peace of being. Of course, that would be, relatively speaking, I'd use the term, a more advanced stage of understanding and of the realization of the self. It's most important to be very clear about what is it you love, and to live honoring your love. And if what you love is truth, then that's what you need to put on the front burner. That is what you need to give priority to. Dedicate yourself to that. And don't worry about the rest. It'll all flow in the right direction, because your mind and your heart is clear about what is it that you really love. You may be challenged, and some doubt may arise for you. And there will be friends around you that will be your companions and will inspire you and even may remind you of the correct path. It's a path of love, and there is no higher love than love of truth. We have to live. We have to live the love. Whatever appears in awareness is awareness itself appearing as that. Like right now, awareness is appearing as that. But although awareness appears as this or that, it remains as it is. Undisturbed, unmoved, unperturbable. The only reality. Any questions?
Hey, Maggie.
Yes, hello.
It's Esther.
Esther, hello Esther.
Hey, would you talk about the injunction not to be the doer? It's like that has always kind of made me kind of fuzzy about that, because if I'm present and being the self, in a sense, I'm the doer of everything. And then if I'm identified with the body, what good does it say not to be the doer? I mean, so would you talk about that?
Well, when you are identified with the body, and to say that you are the doer or not the doer is the same. Because as a body, you are a dream character. Whatever Whatever dreams you are dreaming as a dream character, they don't belong to you. So the belief that anything belongs to you as a dream character, that any of the deeds are your deeds, that the thoughts of the dream character are your thoughts meaning you, the dream character thoughts. All of that is erroneous because you are being dreamt through. The ultimate dreamer is dreaming through you. So, as an identified person, as a personal self, whether you make statements, I am not the doer, or you make statements, I am the doer, it's all blah, blah, blah. It's all completely empty. And I sometimes see these conversations going on between dream characters. I am the doer. No, I am not the doer. Yeah, yes, I am the doer. No, there is no doer.
I'm the dream character, not the doer.
I am the doer.
Actually, I see that a lot.
Yes. There's only one reality. There's only one true doer that does all deeds. Meaning it does gravity, it does the rain, it's speaking these words, it's hearing these words, it's selling peanuts in downtown Calcutta. And that one reality is second to none. So, in fact, there is no Calcutta outside of that reality. There isn't this outside of that reality. There is nothing outside of that reality. So, to talk of doing and non-doing is a dream conversation. You follow? Because there is nothing to be done, nothing that needs to be done, and nothing that is undone. It's not a linear. It's everything collapse into the whole, into the oneness. It's not a process in time where it takes 5 minutes to do this and 10 minutes to do that. For the dream character, yes, it is. But yes and no, because the dream character is an illusion. So when you say yes for the dream character, it takes time to do this and that. It's just a relative way of speaking. Because there is no reality to the dream characters. Only reality is consciousness, the reality that perceives right now. So when people who are hovering around the truth are speaking about, yes, there is a doer, no, there is no doer, it's just a lot of empty talk. It's completely irrelevant. It means nothing. It just keeps them playing with toys. They are playing with the toys, with the top. They are spinning the top. They must be having fun spinning the top, I guess. I hope they are having fun spinning that top.
Well, thanks, Magdi. I always kind of felt it to be that kind of emptiness. I mean, so I just wanted to hear what you had to say. Thanks.
Okay, Esther.
You know, on the top, there's a picture of a doer and a picture of a non-doer.
Aha.
And so when you spin it, you see it depends on where your
Oh, I
perspective is.
see.
Yeah,
Right.
see, there is no doer.
All right.
Yes, there is a
Next
doer.
spin.
They just go on. And
Yes, yes, yes. One spin, there is a doer, then there is no doer. Yes, there is doer, there is no doer. You know,
Oh, we just spin it first, but it's going on.
So I'm careful in terms of that language, which is about doer and non-doer, that to specify there isn't a separate doer. And just remaining in that language, which is a relative language, is that there is one absolute doer. There is only one doer, one reality, one doer. And if you go to an ultimate way of speaking, then there is no doer, no doing, nothing done. There is nothing to say. It's just the bliss of the self, Sat-Chit-Ananda. There are teachings that speak of there is no doer, there is nobody speaking, there is nobody hearing, there is nothing happening. I am not talking, you're not, you don't exist, I don't exist. I would say it's not the real deal. Unfortunately, there are customers for everything, you see. It's a big market. It's okay. So what? We like to play, so we can play with that. Why not? But it's not the real deal. Yes, Sujata. Namaste to you too. Well, any questions? No?
I do have.
Yes.
I don't have so many people, I guess. But I'm going to say on a practical sense, in some ways, this stewardship and all that kind of stuff.
Yes. Yes.
It is good to see, because as a person, I'm thinking I'm the doer now. I'm responsible for doing all this stuff. I'm just responsible to get to consciousness, and
Yes.
as if it were out there or somewhere or
Mhm.
in me, but I just can't. I have to get to it intellectually. I have to somehow get to it.
Mhm.
And so it's always a teacher or something, whatever. And so in some practical way, because a lot of that is causing the suffering for me, is this belief that I'm the doer, so I'm the controller of my life and my, as a doer, and then to be able, like with the body, be able to see that just can't be. Okay, so on that practical level, it seems that it's part of the path, in a sense, of the realization that I am consciousness. There's only one reality. Is that okay?
Well, the dream appears to us, friends, family, the body, work partners, etc. They appear to us, and so we're engaged in all of that. We're actively engaged. Now the question is it possible to be engaged without identification? So is it possible to take away self-judgment, to take away pride, to take away envy, to just to do your best with whatever appears to you, and then let it go. I mean, not often we go back to regretting, and we go to hoping, and why did I do this? Why did he do that? Why did we only have what we have right now. We don't have a crystal ball. In many cases, we don't know. Maybe some data is missing, but we need to make a decision. We make it. Sometimes we make a wrong diagnosis, but at the time, this was our best possible diagnosis, and there may be some consequences because the diagnosis was wrong. Okay, so that's how it is, and so then we are always to be freshly present to what is arising without bringing in the past and the future, so that the freshness of consciousness, the creativity, every moment is being conceived and created and experienced by consciousness as out of itself, out of its sense of play, not to bring in a judger, or an evaluator of how good consciousness is doing. You say what it shouldn't do, or it shouldn't be a tsunami. Well, you know what? There are tsunamis. There shouldn't be volcanic eruptions or earthquakes, but there are some that go right in the middle of a city, and they that's to. So yes, we are. There is a dream, there is this, and there is also the contemplation, and they don't exclude each other. So we can be living, meaning attending to what is arising, the best we can, from a place of contemplation, not from separating yourself from it and bringing in a sense of danger. Yes, a sense of danger. Because when you bring in a sense of danger, it refers to somebody. Yeah. Somebody has to be in danger. Yeah. So in fact, there is nobody in danger, but you bring in somebody who's in danger. So you bring in the me, and the thought of what the projection of some sort of harm, that's created. It's a mind created, you see, because outside of the creation of duality, outside of thought, which is just sort of creates the impression of duality, everything is as it is, including a volcanic eruption. It's all perfect as it is, you see. But when you bring in the separate self, which is an add-on, which is the I body mind, this body mind, I Magdi, then everything that you experience becomes a relative to that separate self. It's in respect on behalf of the separate self. Everything that's happening becomes on behalf of me. It's impacting me.
Separate entity.
It's bringing me goodies, or it's ripping me off. So in both cases, it's miserable, because when it brings me goodies, then I want more goodies, or the goodies are gonna go. Now, so there is always the seed of unhappiness. So yes, in your life, your life is a laboratory in a way, for you, for both to contemplate and to live the contemplation.
I think that's what I meant by practical. It's just,
Yes.
in other words, it's not out there in theory. It's not out there.
No.
For oneself.
You're living it. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. How you
attach, the attachment of a me that attaches to other objects, that there's something that's going to be gained in whatever the future will bring or not bring, or whatever. There's something that's going to happen then.
Yes. Well,
there's some kind of me attachment that goes with.
Well, that's the me itself. The me itself is some projection about somebody in some future out there which will never come, which never comes, because we're always, there isn't a future. So the meditation is practical when we are living it.
Yeah.
So we are living it. We are living in a sort of a space of listening. There is an activity at the body mind level, and also there is at another level a stillness. So there is both the activity, and there's also the listening, the looking, the watching, the attending. So the activities of the body mind, they're going on, but the attending provides you the wisdom, because from the place of stillness you can notice that, oh, there I go defending myself, there I go blaming somebody, etc. If there isn't that space of watching, of listening, that goes on. The emotions go on without being noticed. They're spinning, you see. So there is a place of watching, of listening, that comes into your life, and that's where the teaching or the contemplation has a practical aspect to it, in that it starts to change your living. It doesn't truncate your living. It brings into your living some harmony, some balance, some wisdom, some justice, some sense of fairness, you see. And it relieves you from the negative emotions. It relieves you from negative emotions because you start to see them. You start to perceive them. And when you're perceiving the anger or the jealousy from a place of looking and watching, there is a certain clarity, that there is an interest and eventually a clarity. There's an interest. What's going on, you see? And of course, there's also living, noticing the avoidance, you see, noticing that we're constantly trying to move away from ourselves. It's just trying to move away from being into thinking, and into projecting, into concerns, or into beautiful images. It's a wiggling. We're wiggling, but we never move away from ourselves. I mean, it's a wasteful wiggling. We start to notice that, and then that noticing that brings a little resting. It's like, okay, you see it, you see, and you see the futility of that thinking your way away doesn't really remove, and it doesn't change anything. It's just a temporary escape, and you have to keep on escaping, and it's exhausting, you see. It's futile because the festering is still here. You've got to come and be right here with it, you see. You've got to be completely still with it to fully experience it and see its emptiness, you see. To reveal its emptiness, you see.
I saw this movie on, it was on the most strict monastery in Europe. And it was so depressing. I mean, they were locked, each person was locked in a room, and they only got their food through the door. But again, you know, they're trying to get them to let go by isolating them. And it was interesting at the end, looking at the faces. And you could just tell there was like maybe 10% that was, you know, you could tell they were awake. There was like this look in their, you know, this look, and the rest of them just looked surprised.
They've been locked in the dungeon for too long. Okay, well.
Kate took me to this movie, and she almost had to strap me down and keep me there.
Very lovely to be with you. Okay, Haley, Emmanuel, Esther, Gabby. Okay.
Thank you, Magdi.
Okay, beautiful. Nice to.
Thank you, Magdi.
Okay, Haley. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Namaste.